Yep.
Okay. 그 주,
대표님 지금 이제 시작하셔도 될 것 같습니다.
제가 발표 시작하는 걸로 해서
아닙니다. 제가 먼저
예,
사회
네,
보고
알겠습니다.
시작하는 걸로 하겠습니다.
네.
대표님 혹시 사인 주시면 유튜브 지금 송출되고 있어요?
지금
되고 있어? 시작하는데? 전화 통화 한 번만 해줄래요,
네,
대표님이랑? Just for a moment, please. Sorry for the technical problem.
예, 대표님 지금 시작하셔도 될 것 같아요. 중계.
Good afternoon from Seoul and good morning to our colleagues joining us from South Africa and around the world. My name is Won-Young Kim, a director of the Research and Information Division at the Korea Africa Foundation. And I have a really pleasure of opening today's Korea-South Africa Future Dialogues Health Cooperation Session on behalf of the Korea Africa Foundation at the Embassy of the Republic of Korea in South Africa. I warmly welcome all of you to this meaningful gathering. Today's session marks the first series of the Korea-South Africa Future Dialogues scheduled for 2025. As many of you know, the first ever Korea-Africa Summit was held in June last year, creating significant momentum for strengthening Korea's engagement with African countries. Building on that momentum, the Korea Africa Foundation at the Embassy of the Republic of Korea in South Africa hosted the first Korea Africa Future Dialogue in November 2024, held in Pretoria. This year, we are preparing to hold the next in-person Korea-South Africa Future Dialogue in South Africa this September. In anticipation of that event, we are organizing a series of focused online sessions to deepen the discussions initiated last year and to translate them into meaningful partnerships and networks. So these sessions are also intended to highlight the evolving cooperation between Korea and South Africa in the lead up to the 2025 G20 summit hosted by South Africa this year. So today's seminar focuses on health sector. We are honored to be joined today by government, researchers, health institutions, and companies from both Korea and South Africa. So to begin, we will hear welcome remarks from His Excellency Dong-Han Yang, the Ambassador of Republic of Korea to South Korea. So South Africa. So 대사님, 환영사를 부탁드리겠습니다.
Very good morning to Pretoria and good afternoon to Seoul. Thank you so much for kind introduction, moderator. To begin with, I'd like to start with my special thanks go to Dr. Amban Pillay, Deputy Director General for Health Regulation and Compliance Management of the South African National Department of Health, and Dr. Hun Sang Lee, Chief Strategy Officer of the Right Foundation, and representatives from the South African National Department of Health and the Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation, representatives from the South Korean and South African business and academia, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all. I am pleased to note that last November, the Korean Embassy, in collaboration with the Korea Africa Foundation and the South African Institute of International Affairs, hosted the Korea-South Africa Future Dialogue Conference in Pretoria and explored the various areas of potential partnership. Building on that momentum, the Korean Embassy launched this Future Dialogue series to advance these discussions toward more concrete cooperation by creating a platform to strengthen networks among key stakeholders from both countries and promote the development of actionable initiatives. And we are here today for the kick-off meeting of 2025 Korea-South Africa Future Dialogue Series, focused on cooperation in the health sector. Today's gathering is, I believe, indeed very timely and meaningful, since the existing international environment faces increasing strain and global health challenges demand deeper cooperation than ever before. From the lessons of the COVID-19 pandemic to the ongoing need for accessible and resilient healthcare systems, it is clear that no country can succeed alone. Our health challenges are shared, and so must be our solutions. Given the circumstances, I'd like to underline that Korea and South Africa are natural partners in this endeavor. Korea excels in disease prevention, medical technologies, and biotechnology. South Africa is a regional leader in public health infrastructure and expertise, representing the African continent with institutional strength. By leveraging our respective strengths, I'm confident that we can build a strong partnership that delivers meaningful and lasting benefits to our people. Against this backdrop, it is my great privilege to meet such diverse health-related groups of experts, government officials, and general participants of both countries, who will vigorously lead the bilateral cooperation in the upcoming years. I trust this dialogue will facilitate immediate institutional connections and pave the way for long-term and mutually beneficial collaboration. Beginning with today's health-focused session, the Korea-South Africa Future Dialogue Series will continue to reflect our commitment to building strategic, future-oriented cooperation in other fields, including education and women's economic empowerment. I believe these are the most doable areas for us to enhance our mutually beneficial cooperation. I hope today's dialogue will lay a solid foundation for more in-depth and result-oriented discussions during the hybrid Korea-South Africa Future Dialogue Conference scheduled for September this year. Last but not least, this initiative also comes at a significant moment in our bilateral relationship. As South Africa undertakes the G20 presidency in 2025, Korea is proud to stand alongside as a key partner and trusted friend on the global stage. I hope this opportunity will further elevate our bilateral cooperation, not only in the health sector, but across a broad range of shared priorities, including education, women's empowerment, innovation, and sustainable development. Having said that, I eagerly anticipate the productive discussions and interactions we will engage in during our dialogue today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your really warm welcome remarks. Thank you, Ambassador. Okay, so now let's move to keynote address. So we are honored to welcome Dr. Hoon-Sang Lee, Chief Strategy Officer at the Right Foundation, who will deliver today's keynote speech on Korea's global health strategy and the importance of Korea and South Africa cooperation. So, Dr. Lee, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much. I will share the screen now. But first, I would like to give a special thanks to the Honorable Ambassador, His Excellency Dong-Han Yang, who is the Ambassador of the Republic of Korea to the Republic of South Africa. I have visited South Africa last year, and I was deeply impressed how the Honorable Ambassador had such a interest and willingness to be of a platform, to use his embassy as a platform for the partnership between two countries of South Africa and South Korea, Republic of Korea and Republic of South Africa. And his interest in extending his efforts to the area of healthcare. And I think it was really one of the beginning moment where we were able to come to this point of having today's forum by involving many of the people from researchers and industry from both countries. So today I will give presentations about what we might be able to do between South Africa and Korea, but by highlighting the works that the foundation that I work in Korea, which is RIGHT Foundation. RIGHT Foundation stands for Research Investment for Global Health Technologies. And we try to support our research and development toward the global health equities. So RIGHT Foundation had been established in 2018 with support from Korean government and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations. And the focus was to tap onto the capacity that lies in Korea to benefits the low and middle income countries for the development of essential health technologies tool as a global public goods. And the goal was to elevate the burden of infectious disease that disproportionately affect countries in low and middle income countries. And with this goal, we support product developments and evidence generations and training awards. And as for the product developments, we support development of a product as a health technology product as global public goods, all the way to the goal of a public procurement, global access. And lately, we had been moving into the area of funding technologies transfer from Korea to middle-income country or low and middle-income countries. Like which will be presented today. But we are willing to expand our technology transfer funding support to other vaccine companies and also other diagnostic companies as well, if there is any opportunities in the futures. Second area is evidence generations. We support generation of evidence so that we can show a certain new health technology tool like vaccine or diagnostic tools or even digital health can have a population health impact. And lately, since last year, we had been funding training awards, training of manufacturing personnel for essential technologies. Last year, we began with vaccine manufacturing training. We had 40 trainees from African continents and Asian continents. And indeed, people from South Africa can rightly apply to this manufacturing training as well. But there is some of the consideration that we support. We support any of the project. We emphasize designing with the global access from the start. And we emphasize the aspect of learning from the local, from and with local stakeholders. And for these reasons, and also learn from the context, having the end users' needs in mind and end users' perspective in mind. And for these 2 points, we really emphasize if it is a product that needs to be used in African continents, the importance of working with African stakeholders and partners, like the stakeholders or partners in South Africa. and also the importance of planning to integration into local public health systems, and the importance of engaging key stakeholders early as possible, even from the ideation of development of a product. And for this one, importance of having the end users' perspective in mind, engaging the end users, local governments, like Ministry of Health or Ministry of Science of the South Africa, regulatory authorities, global procuring agencies, but sometimes the national procuring agencies as well. With this goal, there had been since our 6 years of existence, we had funded 69 projects, which accumulate to about 80 million US dollars in the area of vaccines, diagnostics, therapeutic drug, and digital health tool in the area of infectious disease or targeting infectious disease of pandemic potentials. And one of the key highlights that we had been sharing lately is the partnership between U-Biologics and BioVac in South Africa. We are supporting technology transfer of the meningococcal conjugate vaccine manufacturing from Korea to South Africa. And I had the honor to visit the site last year. As for the disease area that we can work in, especially what Right Foundation funding is diseases of pandemic potentials, malaria, tuberculosis, any of the neglected tropical disease, enteric diarrheal disease, pneumonia, antimicrobial resistance or sexually transmitted infections, and many others. As long as it is infectious diseases that are prevalent in low and middle income countries like African continents, including South Africa, or as long as it is infectious disease or pandemic potentials, because pandemic by definition does not impact only global north or high income country, but it can affect low and middle income countries as well. So this is all pandemic potential or infectious disease that affects low and middle income countries. As long as the target disease is in that category, we can provide research and development funding. And this is the current portfolio of a product that we have been funding. There are 8 products in vaccines, 4 products in therapeutics, and again, 8 products in diagnostics. And there are many of diverse tools that are illustrated here. There are some of the vaccines targeting meningitis conjugate vaccines. Also, there can be typhoid, cholera conjugate vaccines, and schistosomiasis vaccines, and many others. But also there are tools like micro needle or patch vaccines, which can deliver vaccine without needles. And also in the area of diagnostics, there are many of the diagnostic tools like a point-of-care diagnostic tools that can diagnose patients at the point of care in especially low-level healthcare facilities in very remote areas without enough people who had been trained. And there had been some of the tools that are using nanotechnologies, like the one by KAIST and OHC, which is a diagnostic company in Korea, which is using the combination technology of IT and BT by utilizing nanotechnologies, making the diagnostic tool even smaller, like handheld size for PCR capacity diagnosis. And also there are also diagnostic tools like nose, which are being validated in Benin, Ghana, Malawi, and many other African countries, which is using AI technologies to diagnose malaria. And there are many others. And last but not the least, there had been some of the active grants that we had been funding and currently funding in the area of digital tools. like mobile device-based surveillance and reporting tool for real-time reporting of infectious disease, mobile device-based or smartphone app-based vaccine registrations and reporting system. But also there had been some of the tools that are software. They are using AI tools for screening and diagnosing of a suspected case of tuberculosis, which are being validated in Vietnam and Mongolia. Using actually for these two tools, they are using Korea, one of the companies, Lunit, which is one of the most well-known company in Korea, which had been developing AI tool for imaging diagnostics analysis supporting tool. And as I said before, there had been training of vaccine manufacturing personnel in Korea. Actually, one person was from South Africa. Maybe in Right Foundation's next year's training, the application call will go out in September of this year. And potentially we might train about 40 people in next year as well. Hopefully, there can be more of the people from South African vaccine manufacturing companies or even from the regulatory agencies of South Africa who can contribute toward establishment of the vaccine manufacturing capacity in South Africa. All in all, we had been trying to be a platform for fostering international partnerships. There had been more than 20 countries. We from more about 40 institutions globally. And there had been 19 institutions from 12 LMICs countries, including some of the institutions from South Africa. And we are hoping that this number to increase. And for this purpose, we are very optimistic that in South Africa, which is representing the research and development and bio industry capacity in African continents, we believe that we can find even more potential partners who are very capable of undertaking research and development, and also which can really participate in the product development in the area of vaccines, diagnostics, and therapeutic tools. And to make all these efforts possible, we had been making various efforts, like hosting a session in Korea's World Bio Summit, which happened in last year's. We had some representatives from some of the African continents, including representatives from BioVac, which is receiving technologies for MCV, meningococcal meningitis vaccines from U Biologics. And also South Africa Medical Research Council's director of the partnership came to Korea to join us sessions representing African continent's research capacities or South Africa's research ecosystem and environments. And also last year, I had the honor to visit some of the universities and companies in South Africa, especially in Cape Town. University of Cape Town indeed is one of Right Foundation's grantees. They are receiving funding from us to develop new generation of malaria drug. And I visited the laboratory facilities, the H3D facilities, centers. And also I visited two of the companies of a vaccine manufacturing company in Cape Town in South Africa. I visited BioVac, and also I had a wonderful time of visiting Afrizens, which is also not just being a vaccine companies in South Africa, but also which is functioning as a global mRNA vaccines hub globally. designated by WHO. Also, I visited WITS, Universal WITS, DIH, Diagnostic Innovation Hub. And here I had seen many of the laboratory capacity that can validate many of products, maybe potentially from South Korea, to be validated in these facilities, or maybe with WITS. Many of Korea's diagnostic innovations can be validated both in South Africa and many other countries in African continents. And it was really great to explore that possibilities with colleagues from Universal WITS. And interestingly, this one instruments, even though it is not currently being funded by Right Foundations, this product was from one of the Korean companies, Seasons. Seasons, Korean diagnostic companies' products are already under validations with these equipments already being placed in with diagnostic innovation hub facilities. And also, I had a great opportunity of meeting with the Embassy of Republic of Korea in South Africa, discussing about all these possibilities. Besides, in Cape Town, it was a really great opportunity to participate in Africa Health Research Innovation Funders Forum with other funders who are willing to fund research and development for the infectious disease and health needs in African continents. And I was very impressed how South Africa has such a capacity and capable situations to host all these continental dialogues that can really benefit the continents, while many of the South African researchers, innovators, and industry partners taking a very active role in the efforts, also including the participation by Minister of Science and Technology of South Africa and Minister of Health of South Africa. And I just wanted to share this one photo. This is not from South Africa, but when I attended World Health Assembly in 2023 in Geneva, there was this one table that I sat, and there was only one vaccine manufacturer from African continent and only one vaccine manufacturer from Asia. There was Dr. Petro from Afrizent, the CEO of Afrizent, and the CEO of one of the largest vaccine manufacturers, SK Bioscience. And I think it was really great representation how Korea and Korean vaccine manufacturer and South African vaccine manufacturer shows a potential for how these two countries can collaborate together for each other's mutual benefit, but also toward global common good and global health benefit as well. Lastly, I want to emphasize that there are now many of the efforts funded by Korea, especially by Right Foundations, to undertake clinical trial and validation research in many of the African continents, especially in the area of vaccine, and we are expanding to diagnostics. So many of these partnerships between South Africa and Korea can do R&D partnership work in South Africa country, but also with this capacity together, we can undertake many of these clinical validation study in multiple sites in other countries as well, so that capacity from Korea and South Africa, while it can benefit two countries, by joining these force together from industrial capacities from Korea and also some of the industries and research capacity from South Africa, I think we have a lot of potentials to benefit the whole of the African continents to bring new innovation in health to benefit the continents. For this, we are looking for institutions with the expertise with preclinical candidates or capacity for technology transfer. Maybe this can be coming from Republic of Korea, but also maybe from South Africa as well. We look for institutions that can establish clinical evaluation in multiple countries in LMICs in Africa, including South Africa and many other African countries. We are looking for health R&D institution and public health institution in LMICs, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Science of South Africa Medical Research Council, SAMRC, and many other institutions can be the ones. And also other bodies that we can work together for end-to-end approach for improving access. And lastly, from the Right Foundation, we are really trying to be a platform that can enable the end-to-end approaches that can link the South Korea's research and development and industries capacities for funding research R&Ds, technology transfer, all the way up to licensures, so that we can have all these products to be procured for the public procurement, but with the goal to contribute toward the equitable access to all these essential health technologies. But in the process, we are really trying to be a bridge between Korea and South Africa so that all the researchers, innovators, industry partners in both countries, I think there can be a lot of potential that we can work together for the both countries' mutual benefit, but also so that these two countries can contribute toward the health improvement in the African continental level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lee, for your insightful keynote address. Your remarks not only gave us a clear understanding of the Right Foundation's impactful work in the field of global health and the Africa health sector, but also provided today's direction for today's sessions. So at this point, I would like to hand over the moderation to Dr. Lee, who will guide us through the remainder of today's program. So Professor Lee, Dr. Lee, it's over to you.
Thank you very much. Today, I'm really honored to have great honorable colleagues from Ministry of Health of South Africa, and also from the Ministry of the Science, Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation of Republic of South Africa, and also many others from industry partners from both South Africa and Korea in the area of vaccines, and academic research partners from South Africa as well. But to begin with, I would like to introduce Dr. Aban Pillay, who is Deputy Director General of Health Regulation and Compliance Management at the Department of Health at Republic of South Africa. So floor or monitor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to your guests in Korea, and on our side, it's good morning. Thank you very much, Dr. Lee, for the kind introduction. Good morning, I guess, to Ambassador for the introductory remarks, and the colleagues from the Government of Korea, as well as the Right Foundation, and my colleagues here in South Africa, Professor Tara Blanche, as well as Dr. Scott, and others would be joining the call, I guess, and my colleague Ms. Luetz. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I think it's a great opportunity to work with Korea relating to this opportunity of local production. You have certainly a comprehensive area of opportunity for us to talk about. Let me first remark and say that local production is probably one of our key priorities in government as well as the president. So you raise this matter at a very opportune time. But what's very interesting from your presentation, Dr. Lee, is that very often we have these discussions about engaging with South Africa, where the person who wants to engage usually doesn't know much about the country. But in your case, Dr. Lee, after your presentation, it's very clear that you understand South Africa very well. You've been to many places. In some places that you've been to, I haven't been to. So I was very impressed to see the extent to which you have visited the various facilities in South Africa. And I think that demonstrates your real commitment to want to support us. So thank you very much. On the score of local production, let me say the COVID-19 pandemic has taught us some very harsh lessons. You may know that during that time we had great difficulty accessing diagnostics, accessing vaccines, as well as medical countermeasures. And it became clear to us that if we do not embark on local production to secure our supplies, come another pandemic or a similar outbreak, we may well be in the similar position. So we really need to change the way we are currently approaching issues of medical countermeasures. Given that local production is such a key part of our strategy, I think three key areas come out of that strategy. The first is that we would want to produce products that are of good quality, that are acceptable, that our communities could use in South Africa, as well as on the African continent, if we also need to be supplying into the continent. So quality is important. I think the second is that we would want to produce these products in quantities and in a capacity that there is security of supply. So in other words, we're able to meet the needs of our population, both as a country as well as in the continent or the region at least. And then thirdly, as important and usually an area that the health department is particularly concerned with, is that these products need to be produced at a price that's affordable for us to be able to procure. Very often, products are procured or from international suppliers simply because locally produced products are at a much higher price. And so to be able to gain efficiency with the budgets that we have, we then end up procuring lower priced products. That obviously harms local production. And so as you do share with us your experience, it will also be very helpful to understand how you've navigated this area in particular of when you're a startup, you clearly will have higher costs. And how do you then escalate that to be within the range of what would be reasonable in a market? And I think that's a problem that we have, and I think a number of countries on our continent probably are in a similar space around that. And your experience will be very helpful in that regard. We're also holding the presidency of the G20 this year, as you know. And we will be having a session on local production. And so we hope that you will be participating in that. Our meeting on local production and pandemic preparedness will be from the 9th to the 13th of June in Johannesburg. It's an in-person meeting. So we anticipate that you will be participating in those meetings as well. I do recall during the pandemic that Korea was one of the few countries that did provide us with support, particularly around diagnostics, if I recall very well. And so it's very clear that you have a great deal of expertise and knowledge in the area of diagnostics. And so we'll be very keen to understand how best that can be adopted. If you look at the global scorecard of the IPPS, which is vexed with the task of the 100-day mission. And if you look at global progress around vaccines and other medical products. What is very clear is that the area that has not been progressing very well in our preparedness for the next pandemic is diagnostics. So I think this is probably an area that you would be able to lead, since you have a lot of expertise and innovation in Korea around the area of diagnostics in particular. Not to underscore in any way what you're doing in vaccines and other areas as well. I recently understand that you have also been involved with the technology transfer in Nigeria in terms of local production. And it is a very innovative mechanism that you've applied and is very encouraging. We hope that other countries would follow the kind of example that you have set. And we would be very keen to talk about how we could do that even for South African companies and what we need to do. I should mention that South Africa has a regulatory system very similar to what you have in Korea. And the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority, I think you call it the FDA in Korea, is responsible for assessing the quality, safety, and efficacy of health products, including diagnostics. And so we would also be keen to talk to them about how they've been able to work with you, because I think very often when you have an innovative sector that's involved in production, the regulator needs to be aligned so that the sector can produce, and there's some support for local production as well. So I think our colleagues from SAPRA may well be very interested in that. And so finally, from my side, let me say we're very encouraged by your efforts thus far, and you've really demonstrated that you're not just talking. You have already been here, you have met with many of the people, and you're actually doing a lot of the work already. And so from our side as a Department of Health, we would be keen to support that. And if you can give us an indication of what we could be doing from our side to make sure that we unblock any challenges that you may have, we'd be very keen to do that. So from our side, thank you very much once again for arranging this and for supporting us in the way you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aban Flay. Indeed, you have touched upon many of the areas like local productions. We are very excited that there can be potential for South Africa and Korean partnerships. I think it is for mutual countries' opportunities that industry partners from two countries can experience the opportunity together. But Right Foundations, one thing that I can inform you is we can also fund technology development for lowering of the production cost and things like that. Also, I think by not just targeting South African market, but if you target African continental market of 54 countries, that is like one of the way to lower the price by putting it to scale. One more thing that I want to emphasize is lately the the Ghanaian FDA signed an MOU with the Korean FDA called the Ministry of MFDS. And I think there can be potential for South Africa's FDA to sign an MOU with the Korean FDA. And if there can be some kind of arrangement for regulatory fast track process, then this is something that we can use a regulatory capacity from two countries so that we can fast track research to development, put it into large production and procurement, and like seeing the market opportunity together. Not in South Africa and African continent together. I think there are a lot of things that we can talk. So it was really great to hear your remarks. Thank you very much. And also the next person, Honorable Ms. Glaudina Lutz, the director. I would like to introduce Ms. Glaudina Lutz from the Director of Health Innovations from the Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation of the Republic of South Africa. We are really honored to have you here today, especially representing the science, technology, and innovations of South African government. And the screen is yours.
Thank you for the opportunity. Looking at your presentation, I actually got very excited and said, I actually need a one-on-one discussion with you specifically, Dr. Lee, that we can start unpacking who are the best partners, not only in South Africa, how to enhance the collaboration between South Korea and South Africa as such. One of the areas you spoke about
My apologies, Ms. Lutz. We are having some disconnect.
training component, what we have created in South Africa.
Okay.
Yes, some of the people has been to Korea. Can you hear me now?
Oh,
On
maybe
video, because
you can,
I'm actually not in the office in the moment, and
yeah,
that might.
maybe you can turn
Yeah.
off the screen. Maybe it can help. Yeah.
Yeah, is that better?
Yeah, it's clear. It's better now.
Yeah. So yeah, what I would like to do is introduce also the biomanufacturing workforce training hub that was created. So it includes the CSIR, the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research of South Africa, the Medical Research Council, Afrigen Biovac, as well as other ones. And they have been created as a WHO regional training facility as well. And I think there's a lot of potential for collaboration then between that and South Korea as such. I was also looking at your list of your people that you are linking with, organizations that you are linking with, and I think it's essential that we also explore the possibilities of South Korea becoming closer to the as an associate partner with the EDCTP program, that is the European Union Africa clinical trial parties around that can be to the benefit of South Korea as well, especially when you need to look at the testing of diagnostic, but also the new clinical trial networks that's been put into place. And this is where South Africa can then also assist South Korea with the introductions into that. One thing that's also important looking at infectious diseases, but one of the major areas is actually your chronic diseases, to start looking at the impact of diabetes, your different cancers, and what we find also that with the large HIV positive population group, some cancers are coming strongly through, and a lot of them are not only linked to HIV as such, but also to some of the treatments that is being used for HIV, then sort of as a consequence of using those treatments. So that is also something that we're quite happy to share with South Korea. And we have also embarked on a 110,000 human genome project, where we specifically would like to address the fact that the African human genome is very underrepresented on any reference base. And when you start looking at the future of science and using AI, specifically for drug development and diagnostic development, is essential that you do have a good reference base then on for the genomic side. And we're quite happy to share that as well. So from my side, thank you for sharing with us. There are so many opportunities that I would really like to if possible, that we can schedule a meeting in the not too far future, where we can actually start unpacking each one of your slides, and that we can say, okay, this we can do, this we can do, this.
Thank you very much. Indeed, I was very glad that you mentioned about the area of non-communicable disease, chronic disease. Even though Right Foundation is not funding at the moment, there are so much of the capacity that are in Korea in the area of diabetes, hypertension, cancer drug and diagnostics, and many others. Indeed, one of the biggest South African biomanufacturers, Samsung Bioepis, which is the company subsidiary of Samsung Biologics, they have a tech transfer of breast cancer drugs to Brazil. But also there are many other like diabetes diagnostic companies and other Korean researchers and manufacturers in the area of NCDs. So I think is really great. Also in mRNA vaccines, mRNA vaccines lately, South Korean government had made major funding initiative in this area. There are many of the really great companies which are coming up with their mRNA vaccine capacity with their own. So I think there are a lot of partnership potential, especially with like companies like Afrigens and others. But also, lastly, I am really happy that you also mentioned about like the human genome sequencing capacity. Indeed, I visited University of Stellenbosch universities, and I was so impressed at the world-class facilities for the genomic sequencing at Stellenbosch universities, which can really serve the role for whole African continent. And as for the future drug development and making, especially targeting the use in African continents, I think this kind of capacity is something of a really great asset that two countries can really work, use together. So I really thank you for all these comments. Thank you very much. And the next panel discussant is indeed, we are now moving into mRNA vaccines. So I'm really glad my colleague and my longtime friends, Dr. Petro Tablangshu, who's CEO of Afrigens. She had been in Korea many times, and we are really looking forward for any kind of like future partnership with her leaderships in the area of mRNA vaccines. So the screen is yours.
Sang, thank you very much, and good afternoon to our colleagues in Seoul, and good morning to our South African colleagues. Let me start. Your Excellency Ambassador Young, thank you very much for laying the foundation for collaboration, and I really appreciated your comment around trusted friends. Thank you for that. I also want to give recognition to Anban, the Department of Health, and Claudina, Department of Science and Technology Innovation, that really supports and fosters a biotech sector and an innovation sector, including focus on local manufacturing in South Africa. And to the Korean and Africa Foundation, thank you for bringing us together. Hoon Sang, I want to share something with you that, in fact, the Right Foundation is not only a funder and a connector and a bridge builder, but you were the entity that brought Afrigen to South Korea in 2022, you may remember. And following that, we have entered into 5 different collaborations with Korean entities. And I want to position that in terms of what Afrigen is. So Afrigen has completed, with the support of the World Health Organization, the Medicines Patent Pool, South African government, and many funders, an end-to-end research development and now GMP-ready mRNA technology platform. That platform is being created firstly for pandemic response and pandemic preparedness, rapid response, but for sustainability and inter-pandemic contribution as an innovation platform to advance mRNA products. And we have 5 critical research and innovation areas that we are creating partnerships in pursuit of a sustainable mRNA modality as a platform. And these are in the formulation space, to improve the thermostability. And in this case, we have partnerships with Korean companies where there's a strong innovation component to develop new formulations and new lipids and new processes for formulation of mRNA vaccines. The second critical area for us is around delivery technologies. And in our relationship with QuadMed and others, we still have the target to endeavor to put mRNA on a microarray patch on a map for various vaccine targets. We have our partnership with IVI and many other partners based in Korea for the advancement of development of pandemic priority pathogen candidates, as well as reducing the cost of goods and the processes for vaccine manufacturing. We have had many engagements with Korean companies, and I was unbelievably impressed on the innovation culture in Korea from an end-to-end perspective. We are pursuing further collaborations now, not only with research entities, but with the private sector companies and vaccine manufacturers. And Afrigen, as a developer of technology, is also provider of technology. And I have a vision that as we will pursue technology transfer, knowledge transfer from Korea to South Africa, that we also from South Africa could contribute and transfer technology to Korea, and in that way cement a joint innovation partnership. We are particularly also interested in not only vaccine development for vaccine preventable diseases where there are no vaccines available yet, so in the space of novel development, but we also have ventured into advanced therapies with the Korean partners. And as you know, we have an MOU with Genentech, and we are pursuing still how can we utilize and get access to CAR T technology for South Africa and Africa. And Claudina mentioned non-communicable diseases, the importance of oncology and the importance of having access to affordable advanced therapies for the African continent. So we are looking forward to continue to build the relationships, to innovate with our Korean partners, and to take products to the market that will have a significant impact on global health, not only for Africa, but for global health. So thank you for the opportunity today, and we will continue with our collaborations and jointly build products that is of great value. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Petro. Indeed, I really agree that the technology sharing and technology transfer can happen bidirectionally. In some case, if there is any new product that Afrigen is or any South African researchers or industry partners are developing, one aspect of the South Korean company is the sheer capacity of putting into large-scale productions or commercializing capacity, making into commercial product. So I think there are like so many of the opportunities that we can explore together. Using the science and technology capacities from two countries together. In the area of a pandemic, I think mRNA vaccine really represents how South Africa and Korea can work together to respond or prepare or respond to future pandemic that will affect Asian continents and South African continents, African continents together. Or even to come up with a product that can really respond to the global needs. But lastly, I really am glad that you mentioned about further potentials of using these biotechnology capacities in the area, not only in the infectious disease, but also in the area of like cancers, like CAR T therapy that you mentioned. One of the areas that Right Foundation and had been having interest is mRNA therapeutic vaccines for cervical cancer as well. This can be one of the areas that we can work together for enabling the future development of products that can really put into use even for the cancer in Africa continent, with high quality, affordable products, and also which can give rise to economic opportunity to industry partners in both countries. So thank you very much. Thank you. And now I'm really glad to introduce our colleagues from Korea, Rachel Park, Ms. Rachel Park, who is Vice President of the U Biologics. It is really great to introduce U Biologics because I think it is really showing the case that while the technology is being transferred from Korea to South Africa, it is really giving opportunity for both countries, for private industrial vaccine manufacturer partners. So I would like to introduce Ms. Rachel Park of the U Biologics. The screen is yours.
Can you, thank you very much for making introduction, and would you be able to see my screen? My
Oh,
slides?
maybe you can, this is not yet in the full screen mode yet.
Okay. Can you see
Okay.
now?
Yeah,
Okay.
now it works.
So thank you very much for extending invitation to U Biologics, and I'm very pleased to make a brief presentation about what U Biologics has been doing in Africa and for Africa. So I will briefly introduce U Biologics, and we are the publicly traded biopharmaceutical company based in South Korea. We focus on vaccine development and supply and immunotherapeutics development for global public health. We are incorporated in 2010, so we are relatively a young company, and our headquarters is based in Seoul, and then we have 2 manufacturing sites in Chuncheon, which is 1.5 hours away by your car from Seoul. The number of employees is about 400, and then we are listed in Kosdaq. It's like next exchange of South Korea. In January 2017, our market cap is about $300 million US. So we have 2 business areas. One is vaccine development and manufacturing supply. The other is in the contract R&D and manufacturing services. So you can see the photos of our 2 manufacturing sites. One is called the SIP plant and the other is called P plant, and P plant has R&D center as well. So SIP plant has a dedicated production line for oral craft vaccine, both drug substance and drug products. And then P plant has a bacterial fermentation and conjugation production line, and in addition to oral craft vaccine, the production line. So these slides summarize our pipeline developments and the Ubico and Ubico Plus, Ubico S, which is an oral craft vaccine, and they're already commercialized, and we ship to low and middle income countries through UNICEF. And we have CREAM 197. This is a recombinant CREAM 197, which is a carrier protein used for in the conjugate vaccines. So as Hoon-sang mentioned, then we receive a grant from Wright Foundation to develop typhoid conjugate vaccine and multivalent meningococcal conjugate vaccine. So phase 3 clinical study was completed in Kenya and Senegal, and our typhoid conjugate vaccine is at NDA in the States now. And for multivalent meningococcal conjugate vaccine, including serogroup A, C, Y, W, and X, and we are currently conducting phase 3 clinical study in Mali and the Gambia. And we also have CREAM, ECML, which is MPLA like a novel adjuvant. So leveraging this, and our recombinant protein-based COVID-19 vaccine is at NDA stage, and then we also have J vaccine and HPV vaccine in our pipeline. So we completed the adjuvant system. So we are also in development of vaccines like RSV and herpes zoster vaccine targeting high-income countries. And in terms of oral craft vaccine, and we are currently the largest and the only supplier of oral craft vaccine to low and middle-income countries through WHO global stockpile. And then our vaccine is also locally registered as well. And till now, we have supplied more than 195 million doses to 48 countries. So as you see the the graph, and our largest recipients of oral craft vaccine are based in Africa. The last slides that I want to present is a collaboration with BioVac, the South African manufacturers, including BioVac and Afrigen. So as Hoon-sang, already mentioned, then we signed an agreement with BioVac for collaboration. Basically, what we do is, we are in development of a pentavalent meningococcal conjugate vaccine where disease burden is highest in Africa. So we receive funding from Right Foundation. And then what we are going to do is we will supply the bulk drug substance for local fill and finish to BioVac. And then BioVac is going to produce process validated batches, and they will receive an approval from SAPRA and then pre-qualification and supply to African meningitis belt countries. So in that sense, and we are the giver of our technology to BioVac and then supplier of the bulk. And I also want to highlight, as Dr. Petro mentioned, then I think much more to come with between South Korea and South Africa manufacturers. So we are in discussion of mRNA vaccine development with Afrigen, and then in this case, and Afrigen is going to be a giver of the technology, and the Ubiologics is going to be a receiver of the technology. So as I mentioned, we have recombinant protein based vaccine platform technology, but as Hoon-sang mentioned, then Korean CDC recently awarded 4 consortiums for mRNA vaccine development in Korea, and Ubiologics was chosen as one of them. Is for development of COVID-19 variant vaccine and then vaccines against emerging infectious diseases. So we are the newcomer to mRNA vaccine arena, and then we could serve as a technology receiver from Afrigen, and we can discuss about potential collaboration with Afrigen. So I believe that I just mentioned the 2 case studies of collaboration that we are working on with the South African manufacturers, but I believe that leveraging the strengths of both countries, and I truly believe that much more will come. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rachel, for such a succinct but really great presentations. I really believe Ubiologics stands for a company who really understands the public health and public health importance and needs, but also I think the case example of Ubiologics and BioVac, and also potentially the future partnership between Ubiologics and the Afrigen is, I thought it was really interesting example because it was not out of kind of like commitment or responsibility, but I think the important thing is the 2 companies from Korea and South Africa, there is economic opportunities as well, which can benefit both companies by working together. Can I ask you just one additional aspect from really the private company's perspective? What was the benefit and motivation aspect as a private entity to work with South African vaccine manufacturing companies?
So I think I have to talk about the strengths of South Africa. For example, regulatory system. So South Africa is only one of the few countries which is maturity level 3, which is reliable in the NRA, and then which allow South African companies to submit their dossier for pre-qualification and eligible for assessment by WHPQ team. And that's the one aspect. And I think all of us know about Gavi, AVMA scheme and African Vaccine Manufacturing Accelerator. And then the countries like, for example, Nigeria, which has the larger population, and they expect to graduate from Gavi towards 2030. Not just Nigeria, but a few countries as well. And then Africa is gonna promote a pooled procurement mechanism, which means that they'll procure the vaccines from local manufacturers for sustainability for future pandemics. So in that sense, I think South Korean countries can rely on sound regulatory system of South Africa, and there is a market opportunity for Korean companies to enter into African continent, leveraging South African manufacturers. So I think they are the 2 most important and major aspects that we are thinking about in collaboration with South Africa.
Thank you so much. Actually, indeed, I kind of didn't have in mind about mentioning the regulatory agency's role, but SAPRA, wonderful regulatory agencies, in African continents, one of the probably the best one that we can find in our African continents. So which has a very high level capacity, as Rachel mentioned, maturity level 3 agency. So definitely that is one of the plus aspect of South Africa. But thank you for mentioning the Africa pooled procurement arrangements. It is really be economic opportunity for South Korean company to have their product to have some aspect of being manufactured in African continents, including being manufactured in South Africa. Together, the two entities, private industry partners from two continents can really seek the opportunity of Africa pooled procurement market in vaccine procurement, maybe in the future in diagnostic and other area as well. So I think Ubalogi's case really showed how there can be a lot of opportunity that can be really sought for by private companies, pharmaceutical industry partners partnering between two countries. So thank you, Rachel, for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not the least, I would like to introduce our colleagues from University of Wits, Professor Leslie Scott, who is the co-director of the Wits Diagnostic Innovation Hub at Wits University in South Africa. So the screen is yours, Professor Scott.
Thank you, Dr. Sang-Lee, and hello to everybody, especially distinguished colleagues. And thank you for the opportunity to really raise the profile of diagnostics in the backdrop of the vaccines. So thanks for the opportunity to participate. So Wits Diagnostic Innovation Hub is based within the Faculty of Health Science at Wits University. We are strategically linked to the National Health Laboratory Service in South Africa. We are part of the Infectious Disease and Oncology Research Institute at Wits, and we also strategically linked to SAHPRA, where we have a long working relationship with them and implementing MOUs between NHLS, SAHPRA, and Wits DIH. So we're about diagnostics for priority diseases in Africa, really to accelerate the access to the most affordable, innovative diagnostics to those who need it most. I wanted to just give a little bit of background to South Africa. As we know, it's a high burden HIV country, also has a high burden of TB and drug resistance, but also a high burden of NCDs. And for more than 25 years, our group has been working to strengthen the diagnostics for public sector uptake. And we really do this from moving from ideas to impact. And we do this by design and developing new tools, manage clinical trials where we evaluate new technologies, and then implement them at scale with in-country partners. This leads to change in policy, and above all, we also continue to monitor the performance of these diagnostics in the field. So all of this work has really enabled South Africa to be an early adopter of molecular technologies. We were the first country to develop and implement an HIV early infant diagnostic, first to do HIV viral load scale-up and other associated HIV tests, and the first country to implement GeneXpert TB testing. And recently, a 10-year impact assessment of this national molecular platform has really showed that the return on investment is in the area of $28 billion using this molecular technology. And you can see the breakdown of the contribution across the diseases. And what this really translates to is that for every dollar spent on these diagnostics has at least a $14 gain in health. So a really huge impact of diagnostics on the continent and in South Africa. So WITS DIH also design and develop technologies themselves in country. We've developed a CD4 assay that's been licensed to Beckman Coulter for global marketing. We developed a TB molecular external quality assessment program and spun out WITS's first company, SmartSpot Quality, who now services more than 52 countries globally. We also developed a digital health tracking tool called eLabs, which is being nationally implemented in Zambia, South Africa, and trialed in Mozambique. And we continue to work with evaluating and engaging with point of care developers aligned with the national point of care policy that our group contributed to. So maybe just to dive a little bit deeper into an example, and I see it was mentioned earlier by Anban Pillay about COVID-19. WITS DIH were the group that evaluated every diagnostic that came into South Africa during COVID, whether they were serology, PCR, or self-tests. We evaluated them, and together with the in-country regulator, SAHPRA, were able to approve 127 of these. And amongst these actually were 16 manufacturers from Korea. You can see, I'm sure many of you recognize some of the names, but we engaged with these companies, evaluated their technologies, and made recommendations to SAHPRA and in-country implementers. Currently, we're working with several other Korean-based diagnostic groups, one being the Glory Biotechnology on a novel CD4 technology to identify advanced HIV disease, and we will be looking at this in several African countries to evaluate the performance and the implementation strategy. We're working with the SD Biosensor to evaluate molecular TB and STI diagnostics. And also, as Dr. Hun Sang Lee mentioned, CGene has been a very strong collaborator of the NHLS and now continuing with WITS DIH for HPV, TB, and STI diagnostics. And we see going forward, many of these companies now developing mpox diagnostics that we will engage with, as WITS DIH is leading the network for laboratory diagnostics around mpox. So on my last slide, just to show that we do have a strong foundation, we have a multidisciplinary team. We continue to embrace new technologies, and we focus on innovations that are patient-centric. And I'm glad that you mentioned, Dr. Lee, the expansion now to also include cancer and NCDs. So we wouldn't have been able to do this without engagements with key opinion leaders, both locally and internationally, as well as funders and clinical partners. And of course, in industry and innovators. So it's great to be part of this forum. Thank you. And we really look forward to continuing our relationships with Korean-based innovators in the diagnostic space. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it will be really great to see more of, especially in the last slides, to see more of the Korean partners in the
Yes.
blogs, which I think is definitely possible. Actually, when I visited WITS Diagnostic Innovation Hub, I was really blown away, like in terms of the infrastructure capacity of the laboratory facility that which DIH already had established, but also the number of diverse researchers who are with so much of experience of conducting clinical validation and studies, not only in South Africa, but also in many other African countries. And also the special relationship, as mentioned in your discussions, the relationship with SAHPRA, I think it can be really vital additions for South Africa-Korea partnerships. And especially I think Korea, one of the hallmark of the Korea's COVID-19 pandemic response was indeed, it was in the area of diagnostics. I'm formerly from the Korea CDC, and I still have so many of colleagues who works there, who had been working during the COVID-19 times, and some of the really great strengths came from diagnostic response capacities, collaboration by the government, Korea CDC, and the industry and the research community working together. But I think there are a lot of needs because while Korean company has a lot of technological capacities, but having the understanding of local context and environments in African continents or in South Africa, the regulatory environments understanding, I think it will be really great to work with South African partners to navigate through those very complex research and development, validation studies, and regulatory pathway. So in that regards, I thought which was one of the great partners that many of the South African researchers and industry partners can potentially work with for the application of all these innovation and science engineering tools in the area of diagnostic, not only for South Africa, but for the African continent or even beyond. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Leslie, for your really great sharing of your comments. And I really thank you for your presence today. Thank you.
Thank you, likewise.
So I really appreciated all of the comments and panel discussion today. And I would like to, if there is any one last comments from each of the panel, maybe I think we can end today's sessions with one final comments from each of the panel members, starting from Minister of Science and rest.
No, I just want to say again, thank you for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to specifically start unpacking more detail on how we can collaborate and expand the links between South Korea and South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Petro?
I think it's a thank you to everyone here and to the two countries for building together. I'm increasingly excited to strengthen the relationship with Korean companies and Korean entities. The foundation is very strong. And Rachel, I appreciated your comments. I think we are certainly going to build something on an mRNA, which will be a unique model for both our countries. So thank you for bringing us together, highly committed to continue the work and to build with you together. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from Rachel?
No, it's same that I just mentioned before, and then much more to come between South Korea and South Africa, and then we really want to build a successful business model between two countries, and then also make a successful story that we can tell to others that how we work together, collaborate together for mutual benefit. So, much more to come. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Any final thoughts, Leslie?
I think sentiments to Rachel is look forward to what's to come. And I think in the diagnostic space, Korea has fantastic innovations, and South Africa and partners, others in the African continent, really look to those innovations and to determine how we can implement them in the right settings. 66% of clinical decision is reliant on a diagnostic. And I think we have to keep noting that and keep innovating in this space. So thanks for the opportunity and look forward to innovating.
Thank you. I think one of the keywords is more to come. And any comments, final thoughts, or remarks from Your Excellencies, Ambassador Donghan Yang?
So thank you so much. Many thanks to all for your active participation, and my special thanks go to Professor Lee for the real great moderation. And also, I look forward to working closely all of you to further enhance our cooperation between Korea and South Africa, and also really bring real benefits to our people. Thank you so much. I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. So I will end my moderation here, but again, thank you everybody for such a great insights and thoughts and sharing of all these wonderful stories. As I said, today one of the key final remark is more to come. So let's look forward to more of the partnership between two countries. Thank you very much. And lastly, I just really wanted to give a great special thanks to Korea Africa Foundation's Ms. Won-young Kim, who really made hard work to put all these things together. So thank you, Ms. Kim.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. Before we close, we have one question from
Okay.
the audience. So
Okay.
maybe it's the question to Dr. Lee.
Okay.
So it's a question from the Lalitha Moodley. So does the Right Foundation consider funding for products that improve patient identity management, especially for increasing longitudinal patient care and access to historical patients' data? That is the question. So you can.
So just a short answer is at the moment, I think that might be within our scope at the moment because we more specifically focus on actually detecting and diagnosing patients for the specific infectious disease presence, pathogen diagnosis and identifications, or identifying the suspect case. So maybe a little bit out of scope, but our funding area is changing. So next year, potentially, we are very carefully considering expanding into area of like digital health and AI and any of the infectious non-communicable disease with relation that has a relation to communicable disease. We cannot promise yet. So next year in March, our foundation's funding call RFP will go out again. So I would really appreciate if you can wait for our next funding call, especially with the prospect that how we can expand our funding areas.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer and sharing a really good, important information. Thank you. So the presentations and discussions today have laid a foundation for deeper engagement, and we hope they will lead and continue to concrete collaborative projects, especially as we look ahead to the in-person Korea-South Africa Future Dialogue in September this year, 2025. So thank you for today. And lastly, on behalf of all organizers, thank you once again to our speakers, panelists, and participants. So the Korea Africa Foundation is committed to continuing its role as a platform that connects Korea with Africa, including South Africa, through meaningful forum and seminars like this one, along with research collaboration, database development, and practical partnership building efforts. We will continue to do our part in deepening the relationship. So thank you very much today, and goodbye from Seoul, and let's keep in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. 대사님 감사합니다.
Yeah, thank you. 고맙습니다.
고생하셨습니다.
Yeah.
Thank you.